Well, the man behind the bass of the inspirational alternative band Mudhoney shares why he's lending his name to a blood donation campaign. And believe me, it's a cause that's close to his heart. So right now, there is a critical need for blood because of low donor turnout in the recent months. Local musicians are joining the effort to recruit new donors, including Mudhoney bassist Maddison, who sees the need for blood donations every day thanks to his job. You have a very interesting background. Would you remind us as how most people know you?
Well, most people who are interested in music and music from Seattle probably know me as the bass player of Mudhoney. Of course, the last 18 months going on for 2 years, we haven't been doing any shows because of COVID, but we're hoping to get back. We have some shows next March at the new Crocodile Cafe in Seattle, and hope to be back on the road if we can get this COVID stuff under control by then.
Fingers crossed on that. Speaking of COVID, it relates to your day job. Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, for about the same time that I've been in Mudhoney, I've been working at Harborview Medical Center. I'm a registered nurse. I've been working at Harborview. I initially started off in the cardiac ICU back in 2001. There ever since. I love working there. That's my day gig.
That's awesome. How did you get into nursing?
I was already living in Seattle and moved here to work on some musical projects with some of the people that I knew from Mudhoney before I was in the band. My wife and I decided that we would go back to school at the same time in the late 90s, and I chose nursing. I went to Shoreline Community College and then the University of Washington, and I became a nurse then. I chose it. I'd worked before as a medical assistant, and so I knew that I might have an aptitude for it, and that's why I chose it.
Does anyone ever recognize you?
One of my jobs was a stat nurse, where we sort of roam around the hospital putting out little critical care fires here and there, and used to work in the emergency room a lot. And the only time that it's ever happened to me was I was taking care of somebody that had had an accident and broken their ankle and had come into the emergency room, and the young man said, "Hey, aren't you the bass player of Mudhoney?" But only that one time.
That's pretty cool, though. As someone who works in the medical field, you're very well aware of the importance of having enough blood on hand. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so blood products are critical to all hospitals, and particularly where I work. Harborview Medical Center is the level 1 trauma center for the state of Washington and some of the surrounding rural areas in other states like Montana and Idaho and Alaska. So we see people that desperately in need of transfusion of blood. Like I said, when I was a stat nurse, we'd do a lot of work in the emergency room where the fresh traumas had come in, and sometimes we'd have to transfuse up to 20 or 30 units of blood just to keep these patients alive. So that's a lot of blood. What's happened during this last year and a half to 2 years of COVID is people haven't been able to get in and donate blood like they normally do, and there's a huge regional shortage and national shortage. So the program Music in Our Blood is partnering with the music community here in Seattle to try and promote blood donation.
Why do you think it's important for you to be able to use your platform as a musician to reach maybe younger and alternative audiences?
Yeah, I think the Music in the Blood campaign is very useful because people like myself and other musicians in our local community really reach out to a different audience of young people who perhaps don't have access to the same information about blood donation. Perhaps where they work, they may be working from home, and so their employers, which is a traditional method of blood donation, is for employers to partner with the blood bank to generate donations. So I think that because we provide a forum that people are interested in, that we can bring people who don't traditionally get that message about blood donation.
Real quick before I let you go, how do people get involved?
The easiest way to get involved is just to search Bloodworks Northwest on the internet, and that is the blood donation service for our Northwest area. All the information, they'll take you directly to their home site, and it'll show you where you can go to donate blood and what the process is.
Guy, thank you so much for sharing this promotion and for all that you do every day at Harborview. I mean, my goodness, talking to a real lifesaver here. Thanks so much. Yeah, and if you'd like to learn more about Music's in Your Blood, visit the website on your screen. The goal is to recruit 10,000 new donors. So if you give blood now through December 31st, you can enter to win some cool prizes, including a big screen TV, a Sonos sound system, and a Gibson guitar. And that's not all, there's a whole lot more.